Call to order the Board of County Commissioners special meeting. Welcome everybody. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Most of you probably know, some of you may not know, Commissioner Hall lost his love of his life this weekend. Jane passed away Sunday morning. And at this time, I think it'd be appropriate to have a moment of silence for Jane and the Hall family. Thank you very much. First item on the agenda is to approve the special meeting agenda. Mr. Chairman, I so move. There's a second. There's a motion and a second to approve the special meeting agenda. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. First item is a public hearing. This is an open public hearing and discussion regarding the assessment district in Viva Santa Rita subdivision. At this time, is there any person that would like to speak on the Viva Santa Rita subdivision assessment district? Good morning, Dory.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
I presented to you today an agenda for the public hearing. The first item on the agenda is the introduction, and as you probably will know by now, we had a petition in the past to create this district. County Commissioners did create the district, and according to the Act, the Board of County Commissioners is required to conduct this public hearing. And for the main purpose is to receive written objections from any of the landowners that are being assessed, and anyone that was going to have written objections had to file in the county clerk's office. And in item number 4, I have a statement here where the county clerk did not receive any written objections from anyone. So therefore, county staff has some corrections. Okay. County staff did make some corrections, and we propose to make those corrections to the assessment roll prior to your resolution on Thursday to confirm the roll. And they're mostly format corrections, a landowner correction as far as name, and a lot number that was omitted from the assessment roll. And that is it.
Any questions for Dory?
No, it's a good job, like always. Appreciate what you do for us.
How long has it been since you've done one of these? Now you got 3?
I have to tell my age.
You can't quit until all of them are done. No retirements for you.
I think there's 3 more pending. Thank you.
Okay.
No problem.
Is there any other public input on this open hearing today? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on. We're not voting on anything today, right, Dory? We're just having a public hearing. Okay. So we'll move on to contracts and agreements. Approve or disapprove agreement number A1412 to purchase. This is a purchase agreement to purchase the fuel tanks at the Grant County Airport from Western Bank.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion that we approve agreement A-14-12, purchase agreement to purchase fuel tanks at Grant County Airport from Western Bank.
And I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion on that? Go ahead, Abby.
Mr. Chairman, I think you have the agreement on the back. Did you find it? So the cost of the tanks is $132,986.66. My understanding is this is a really great deal that we're getting. That it's estimated that it probably costs us $400,000 to $500,000 to buy these types of tanks at market price. And we actually have a grant that we already have lined up that once we buy the tanks, will be reimbursed, I think, $100,000. So we're really in good shape on this deal. Do you have anything to add, Linda?
No, we have that grant, so it's ready.
To go, so we can make the purchase.
Any further discussion?
I just wanted to say that I'm glad we're doing it. It has caused some difficulty for this fire, and hopefully we're prepared for the next one. It's just something I think that we have to do, and being in the circumstances we're in, I mean, it's a perfect scenario that showed us we need to get this done, so.
We're all learning that, it's not as simple as filling the tanks and taking off. There's so many hoops that we're having to go through. So we are working really hard. Myself, Randy, and Justin, and Linda, we're all working to get the process of fueling going.
And I appreciate it. I know you and Randy have worked really hard on this, and since that first spark of fire started, y'all have been working on it, so we appreciate you. I mean, it's been a lot of hard work.
Put it in place as quickly as we can.
Thanks.
Any other discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We will call the Board of Commissioners work session to order. Can I get a motion to approve the work session agenda?
So moved.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. General purpose of the work session is to inform the Grant County Board of Commissioners of agenda items that will be addressed at the next regular meeting, and for the department heads and other elected officials to communicate with commissioners in regard to matters of their respective departments. In accordance with Grant County Resolution 1401, we welcome the public to attend the county work session. However, there will be no public input permitted today. First item on the agenda is to review the May 22nd regular meeting agenda. Madam Manager, would you please do that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, we'll have a public hearing to consider the fireworks proclamation, and the proclamation is the exact same language that we've adopted in the past. So we'll have a hearing on that, and then we'll request your approval or disapproval of that. I don't know if Randy has anything to add.
At this point, we're still in extreme fire conditions, and I just want to continue and support that we continue with the fireworks ban.
Looks like you guys ought to stay right. She's going to call on you when she catches you napping. And I didn't say that.
You just look like it, but you
We kind of talked before the meeting, so I know when she's going to turn over to me, I just got to remember what it's about.
so many subjects.
Thank you.
And behind the proclamation in your notebooks is the same support that we always provide to you. That shows that we are still in severe extreme conditions for drought, and we still have high fuels, and as you know, we're having fires. So I think we both recommend that we continue with the proclamation.
Okay.
Next would be financial reports. Linda, I don't know if you want to go over that? Okay.
So we're going to go over the expenditure report, Linda?
Yes. Mr. Chairman.
What we do is we just, any extraordinary expenditures in there that you would go over.
There is none out of the ordinary expenditures. It's your monthly expenditures, which includes payroll and AP. There's nothing out of the ordinary, and the total is $809,306.19.
Okay. Thank you. Are we going to have a cash flow report this month?
We won't have it until the beginning of June, the first meeting in June.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, then under new business, we'll have a presentation from the National Center for Frontier Committees. They'd like to present an update to the board on the funds that they received, on how they've used it. Then under D, we're going to have some additional para reports, and I believe you've all seen these before. We have to put these in front of you, and it's an update for our firefighters' retirement. And under E, approve intergovernmental vehicle transfer from Grant County Senior Programs to Corey Caminos Transit for $499. I don't know if there's any questions on that.
And that's under what?
I'm on page 2.
Is it,
Yeah, what are we transferring?
yeah,
It's,
I believe it's just a vehicle, an older vehicle that they have, and they're just going to transfer it to the girls so that they can use that vehicle around.
To Corey Caminos.
Yeah, to Corey Caminos.
2004 Chevy Cavalier for 44,000 miles.
okay. And you checked out the vehicle, it's pretty decent to be driving back and forth, right?
And we had
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Ramos, yeah, we had a fully inspected by the road department. There was some, but it's fully capable. It was just one that was used for a very short time, but it was just damaged a lot. But we think it's feasible for them to come back and forth from Deming on a daily basis. So that's one of the reasons we that they were having a lot of wear and tear on their own vehicles. So it's just one that they can afford, and we thought it'd be appropriate, get it off of Terry's books from the senior program and make it usable. So we've done that.
Well, I just don't want to make this a habit of giving every director a car to be driving back and forth, because then it might go broke. But, we got to really review that.
Under contracts and agreements, we have a memorandum of understanding where we're agreeing with the union to amend our current union contract, and this will relate to road department employees only. And John and I have been working on this with the president of the union and the road department employees. We've been working on it for several months, and John came to an agreement with the union president right before he resigned. And the changes, I believe, on your drafts are highlighted. And what it is we are creating an internal promotional process so that when you work at the road department, you come in as a laborer, and under this process, you'll go up the chain. Rather than hiring from the outside right away, we'll go up through the chain of positions, which are, they'll start with the laborer, and then they go to truck driver, equipment operator, and blade operator. So the idea is that we will be training internally, Earl will be, so that he can move the senior person in the lower classification. For instance, the senior laborer, who is the one that's been there the longest, will move into the open truck driver position when it opens, and so forth as you go up the chain. And I think we've got a good program set up, and we do have the agreement of the road department employees at this time, and I recommend that we move forward with this one. Let me know if you have any questions in between now and the Thursday's
So
meeting.
this has already been negotiated with the union?
Yes, it has.
And they're, okay.
They're on board, is my understanding. I received notice from the union president that they voted, and it passed the road department. Under G, we have the new policies and procedures for the seniors program, and I have been working on this with Terry Trujillo, and occasionally he has to revise and update his policies for his program, and that's what this is. I reviewed it, and we've made revisions to make sure that it doesn't conflict with our employee manual, or employee policies, and I think it's in good shape at this point. Most of it deals with his program and the operations of his program, and then there's a few things that overlap with our manuals, our employee manuals, but not too many. And it's fairly similar to the policies that he had in the past. Under H, we have a resolution to confirm the assessment role for Viva Santa Rita, and I think you're familiar with that. We had the hearing today, and we'll hopefully approve the role on Thursday. And under I, we have approved the resolution. It's a resolution of notice of intent to adopt an ordinance for the Viva Santa Rita Improvement District. So it won't be the ordinance itself, it'll be that first resolution of intent telling the public that we are going to publish a draft ordinance for the assessment district to put it in place. And then I believe, I think the date is on it. In June, the attached draft is right behind the legal notice. And we plan to put it on the agenda for June 12th. And then that assessment district will be up and going. Then we have the health plan claims, the health plan claims. And I believe those have been approved. Yes. Jacobs Mora has approved, but the funding is there to go ahead and move forward with those claims. That's under J.
And then after the regular meeting, we'll have an executive session?
Yes, we will. And that'll be just to continue with the process for the county manager.
Okay.
We should have brought you on a long time ago.
No doubt.
If you have questions, let us know. It's going to be the fastest meeting we ever had.
Breaking records already.
And I think that's it for the regular meeting, Mr. Chairman.
For the work session?
Well, I mean,
The
regular
work
meeting
session agenda, for the regular meeting agenda. Okay, then we'll stand for county reports, and we'll start with Mike.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Ramos, respectfully submit my report for May the 6th through May the 20th, 2014. Item number 1, the status remains the same on the policies and procedures. Detention facility, item number 2. We currently have 3 vacancies. The department recently hired 1 detention officer. It's Officer Valencia. He has begun his field training program. If you recall, it was about a week ago, we made a trip to the Department of Corrections in Las Cruces. I met with a warden up there, and in speaking with her, the DOC agreed to help our officers with training, with the 40 hours of training or any other specialized training that we may need. They told us that we could send our officers up there and they wouldn't charge us anything. That would be part of our CERT team and any other specialized training. They're also going to help us, they're going to review our records management system, and they also said that they would provide any canine searches that we might need if their dogs were available, but they'll bring them down, and they have in the past. So it was a very good visit. I also recently spoke with agents from the New Mexico State Police and Department of Homeland Security about providing our facility with our own canine. They do have a canine available right now. I'm waiting a call back from the task force commander. This will all be funded under the HIDA program. And in talking to them, should this come about, all we needed to do is provide a canine officer, which they provide the training. They will provide all the necessary funds for the upkeep of the animal. And the only thing we do is provide the wages, which we're doing right now. And any overtime, since this will be a canine for the region, for the HIDA region, any overtime, we'll just do an ops plan, and that canine officer, along with the canine, will be reimbursed through the HIDA fund. So there shouldn't be a whole lot of cost imposed with if we go through with getting this canine and our canine officer. So, and it'll be a total benefit to us. So at the facility, we can run the canine, we can run the dog through the facility, and we'll start cracking down on any contraband that may come in the facility. So I think it's be a win-win situation if everything comes to pass. And I'll be checking with the task force commander on that. Item number 3, the status remains the same. Under our training update, item number 4, Lieutenant Aguirre and Sergeant Galindo are scheduled to attend an instructor certification on control force training in Roswell next week. And with this training specifically teaches the officers and the instructors the proper techniques for controlling combative individuals with hand and body movements. Both supervisors will be able to certify our officers in these techniques, and this is a part of their 40-hour required training. So We're looking forward to them coming back and being able to instruct our officers and provide training. Under item 5, the status remains the same as far as our inmate support program. We're still meeting with that. Recognition award program, we haven't been able to, we haven't had a whole lot of time. It's only been a couple of weeks, so we're awaiting a nomination from the employees on our recognition program. And last of the detention statistics, average daily population, again, this is just from May 6th to May 20th. Average daily population is 51, 22 less than last month. High population males is 71, 8 less than last month. High population females is 14, 3 more than last month. For the month of May 6th to the 20th, there are 78 inmates, there's 6 less than last month incarcerated in the facility, and this shows a slight decrease in the activity. Monthly arrest totals, Silver City PD had 50, and New Mexico State Police had 7, Grant County SO 11, Santa Clara 1, Baird PD 1, Hurley PD 6, APO had none, and there was none for the game and fish. The detention facility conducted 18 district court transports. Division 1 Magistrates Court, there were 15. Division 2, there were 7. Silver City Municipal Court, we had 4. Santa Clara had 0. Baird Municipal Court had 0. And Hurley Municipal Court had 1. We had 0 medical transports as compared to 0 last month. The total number of transports for the month of May 6th through the 20th is 45 as compared to 60 last month. And our occupancy offense levels, there were 13 felonies, 23 misdemeanors. In the other section, which is probation violations and warrants, there were 37 for a total of 73. And total number of hours in custody is 10,044.22. Average length of stay is 8.34 days. And this shows us decrease as compared to last month. I stand for any questions.
Any questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike. Earl?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, pretty much business as usual down at the road department. We're still hauling chips in. I'm hoping to get that taken care of by Monday. We will be chip sealing the first 2 weeks of June. We've got 2 of the 3 slabs poured out there at the Grant County Fair Barns for the guys out there. We should have that wrapped up with the roof drain and everything probably by Thursday of this week, and then we'll clean up probably Monday, and then that'll be taken care of for those guys out there.
Thank you. Any questions? No. Thank you very much. Randy, you've been the busy one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real quick, I'll start with the DWI program. We are going to have a meeting with LOC tomorrow, go over the program with them, review it. I'm working with Cindy on that. Senior program, lost the site manager there, trying to replace that. Things are working pretty darn well there. We're also working on trying to get the hood ranges up at the Gila and Santa Clara Center. There's been some inspections by the fire marshal. There needs to be some tweaks there, so we're working on that. Correcaminos, got a report from the DOT. I'm still reviewing that right now to go over all the information. I'll have a better report for you probably in the next work session. Fire, start with the fire is as of 0600 this morning, 75% contained. That's according to the IC team. There will be scaling down over the next couple of days, so you'll probably see a lot of traffic, a lot of fire traffic on our highways, people getting back to their stations around the state in Arizona and South Texas or Southwest Texas. So I think Gabe O'Keefe will be here on Thursday, and the public input, I talked to him early this morning and last night, and he will give you a kind of a report on where they're at and where they're going in the next, as we go into this holiday weekend. Still want to remind people that it's very volatile out there. We did have some other fires in the community besides the Signal fire. Tyrone was pretty busy over the weekend. We think both from human caused. There was another fire in the Mendus area, so that was put out pretty quickly. But I do want to thank all our VFDs, commissioners. We came together all weekend long with the incident command team because there was still kind of a threat of it getting over Alley Canyon and that area. So we put together a plan with the VFD, Sapio Creek and Upper Mimbres, working with them if they were to be called out. Then I wanted to make sure that other VFDs were going to be able to cover the areas that they weren't going to be able to cover. Working along with Silver Fire as well to cover if we needed Whiskey Creek. So it was a collaborative effort between the Volunteer Fire Department, Silver Fire, and the Incident Command Team that was here. So I want to thank them. I know there was a Santa Rita volunteer firefighter here a few minutes ago. And I just want to thank everybody. I think when we come to an incident of this, this sort, people say that, 5,000 or 6,000 acres isn't all that big. But you got to realize that, that 1 acre is as big as a football field. So, go figure when you have an incident that size and when you have, people and property in the way of this type of incident, we just have to be, ready. And I think it's a benefit to our volunteer firefighters, the training that they receive, before the fire season. We're headed in the right direction when it comes to the VFDs. We have the right equipment. We want to thank you for allowing us to purchase that equipment, and making sure that all our volunteers are trained. So I don't have anything else. Again, Gabe will be here on Thursday in the public input to give you a breakdown of where the fire's at. I believe it's just under 6,000 acres. So we'll get more from him as we go forward. So unless you have any questions, Public Works. We are striping the parking lot at Baton Park. That's going to come out really nice, going to give people an opportunity now. It's just not everybody show up and park. Fire lanes will be in there. The parking will be set up real nice. They're doing that as we speak. The handrails are also being done for the steps down the concession stand on both fields, the two upper fields. That's getting done, so I want to thank you, commissioners, for that. The shooting range is, as you know, we talked about it. Freeport was giving us $5,000 to put a new shotgun skeet shooting building up. Working with them, there'll be some in-kind from the county as far as Public Works Department is concerned. So that's a project that's going to start here pretty quick. Again, the fuel information, we're working with Abby on that and Justin. Also working on a little storage for the extension office to make sure we get that done. And then the conference center is just being overrun right now by graduations. But we do want to remind people that, there's a lot of bottles and stuff being left in the parking lot. And so I ask those people that lease the conference center from us. I know the inside is important to keep clean, but so is the outside. There's a lot of traffic with Ace Hardware there in the public. So it's being used. I ask people to respect the facility. I know there's a lot of kids and they're going to get around in areas that aren't blocked off. That's just something we have to deal with. But I just want to, let the public know that when you rent the facility, there's a deposit for a reason. And if there's damage and stuff to the facility, then we have no choice but to recoup that deposit so that we can, fix whatever's been damaged in the process of having a good time. We want the kids to have a good time, we want the parents. It's just not only the high school graduation, but there are some university graduation receptions going on as well. So we're busy with that. Got guys working on the weekends, making sure that all the stuff is there that they need, the tables, the chairs, the cleaning supplies, the trash, making sure that the bins are picked up, because we're going to have a lot of trash on the weekends. And so just a collaborative effort again by the Public Works Department. I want to give them kind of a pat on the back. And I do want to thank Earl and his crew with the fire as well, using a blade to blade the county road to make sure that it was in condition, because there was going to be a lot of traffic over there. So they asked me to point that out to you, commissioners, as well as the whole staff of Grant County working with them. They know, when you get incidents this close to the community, then there's a lot of traffic, but they did want to express their thank you to the county commission and all the county staff that has helped out during this fire. Well, that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
I just want to say thanks for all your work and all your updates. I know it bugged you a lot, especially when it first started, so I don't want to bug you too much when you can't do your job, but thank you sincerely for all your help and all your work. Abby, also, thank you for keeping us posted. I was gone for 3 days in the state tournament, and I was being updated all the time, so I really do appreciate you.
Mr. Chairman, and my deepest sympathy to Commissioner Hall and his family, because that's that's gonna be tough. So I just want to say that personally. Thank you.
You might, if you touch base with Gabe prior to him being here Thursday, I know in the Journal this morning, it talked about the smoke from the Arizona fires. You may, just have him briefly kind of go over where those fires and what's going on, because that way people won't be calling us from the river area telling us that there's fires and such, so.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Anthony?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Ramos. Trying to catch up a little bit, after John resigned, he had a few projects that he actually worked with directly. When we have an architect on board, usually their scope includes all of the project administration, so there were some things that I really wasn't involved in, and trying to get caught up with that. We also had several meetings with the Mexico DOT. We've had some scoping meetings for what they're going to do in the area, potential things that we have, like the local government road fund, that we actually get funding for. There's some safety program money still available. So we're going to take a look at putting in a planning grant for the Kirkland Road intersection. We've been on the DOT to try and do something there for years. They've informed us that they weren't going to provide the planning, and so we're going to try and get some of those safety monies for the planning of that intersection. I think it's a bad intersection. We all know it. Just nobody's done anything about it. So we also talked about a long-range plan, and Mexico DOT's putting a long-range plan together. We've of course identified several things directly related to economic development and to the survival of our community. 4 lanes in and out of our community, I think, is probably on top of the priority list. So there's lots of those type of things. Public transit. We've identified several things for the long-range plan. We've been working with the AWSA. Today is the Gila San Francisco Water Commission meeting. I'm not sure if the Commission's aware, but last meeting was a pretty rough one, and so hopefully we're going to do some things to try and tame that thing down a little bit. Try and use some methods that the Commission uses. We're going to limit the amount of public input, put at the front of the meeting, do some things that the Commission does to try and make the meeting a little bit more, I don't know how you say, productive. There's a Colonias board meeting on June 4th, which will tell us whether or not we were funded for our Rosedale Road project. It's on the 4th? It's on the 4th. It'll be in Deming. We are also working, I've been contacted by FEMA. They're going to do what's called a community assistant visit here in Grant County. They're going to review all the floodplains. They're going to review our ordinance. They're going to review our methodology and how we assist residents of Grant County, and so I've been trying to gear up for that. There's a lot of information that they require for one of those visits. It's a week-long visit, and so I think that'll keep me busy for that week anyway. Got some information on the ICIP. If we want to remove anything from the ICIP, they just want the documentation. We also need to probably start thinking about the ICIP. We always run into the fact that it's due in September, and we're 2 weeks before, or 2 commission meetings before, we try to identify the projects we're going to try and work on. We need to get a jump start on that. I think we do have some issues with infrastructure, the courthouse, the business conference center, both of which I think are on our ICIP. I think that we may have to move them up on our priority list. So.
I think actually it would be a wise idea to have a public discussion over ICIP, maybe the second meeting in June. Just invite the public in to look at it and take information from them before we approve it in August.
Well, I hope that we get a little bit more input than we get from the CDBG. We visit the senior centers because that's a place where people usually gather in the smaller communities. We certainly can maybe post some things in the post offices or something, try and get the word out a little bit more that we're trying to get some type of input for any type of
projects that the community is wanting. A lot of the times, the projects that they're wanting aren't fundable, or they're kind of small, and that they need some things at the senior center, or need some, that's a huge issue, and so, but you can explain to them that wouldn't be eligible, so that they can understand that.
They don't want to hear that little thing called the Constitution.
I think that's probably about all. I still want we still work with, we're working with the Council of Governments. We're still on the Stronger Economies together, and I co-chair that board or committee, whatever you want to call it, and they're doing some good work, trying to get some regional input so that we can get our economies back on track, do some economic development. I know that people don't realize it, but whatever Hidalgo County or Ketchikan County or Luna County does economically has a drop in the bucket effect with Grant County. I mean, we can. It's extremely noticeable. If you drive to Deming, there's a lot of cars on that highway, and so anything that we're doing affects them. Anything they're doing affects us, and so I think that's been a really good group. It's evident through the MOU that was given to all of the local governments. We all signed that. I guess it's almost 2 years now, and it's been used continuously in grant funding opportunities. So I think that probably Priscilla has been talking a little bit more about that, about the frontier communities, about the promise zones, about our SEDS program, which is actually state economic development. So I think it's extremely important, and anytime the commission, I'd welcome them to come to one of our meetings, because they are pretty productive, and there's a lot of information. But that's all I've got.
Mr. Gutierrez, can you kind of give us an update on the trail between Bader and Santa Clara?
We did have a couple of meetings about the Copper Trail. We went over the possibility of putting a trail alongside the road. We have a lot of foot traffic, and it's actually on the shoulder of the road. The DOT has identified that we have to have a 14-foot buffer between the Indian Walk Trail and the roadway itself. They've also told us that we're going to have we have to have some type of barrier, whether it's visual. The closer you get to the road, the more of a barrier you have to have.
So they'd rather walk on the shoulder?
Well, we looked at trying to move the trail outside, down the slope. Right in there, we've got about 20 to 22 feet in there. So we have the 14-foot buffer. Potentially, it'd be easier to construct. We're trying to find a balance between where the safety zone is versus the overall cost of the project. So if we can get it on top of the slope, it reduces the cost of the project significantly. And so that's what we've been trying to identify. I gave a little 3D type presentation using Google to try and show exactly where the road was at and how it varies with the actual highway. And I think that the DOT's on board with trying to help us out. So
that was a heck of a presentation you put on. That's why I wanted to bring that up. Right now, we're really trying to figure out where the monies are going to come from to construct that trail. Of course, that's very important. We wanted to try and use safety trail monies, but it's the way the DOT explained it is, have you had anybody get hit or run over in that area to qualify for that? Thank God we haven't had an incident like that, so we wouldn't qualify for those types of money. So we're trying to kind of dig wherever we can to come up with money to work on that trail. But thank you very much for that presentation. It was pretty neat the way you used that Google presentation. So it was a really neat presentation.
So we haven't identified funding for it?
No, we haven't. We're working on that right now.
Said something.
We're going to, I'm going to meet with Engineers Inc. We're going to actually get a good scope of work try and, not necessarily preliminary engineering at this point yet.
Is the county the lead on this, or is Santa Clara and Barrett? Because the majority of
Well, I think
those...
we're actually trying to get the village of Santa Clara, but that's where we're trying to actually try and reduce the amount of overall cost of the project, because they would have to come up with 14% of the overall cost of the project. I think that we came in and said, you know what, we'll help try and plan the project, try and maybe get some preliminary engineering, something to try and go to work off of. I think engineers is gonna help us out with that, getting us some good project estimates, and we can actually look at the overall cost of the project and see if the village is gonna be able to do their part.
And to my surprise, about 80% of that project is in the county. I really thought more was going to be in Santa Clara.
Where's it going in that?
It's just going from, right now we're looking from the property line of Bayard over to Highway 35.
Yeah, to the intersection of 152.
But, I mean,
The majority of it's in Santa Clara.
well, I mean, and I guess I should take that back. The property between Bayard and Santa Clara, I thought the property lines were closer.
Yes.
So there's a big spot there. And I really think that by the time this project is over, it's going to be smaller than what we're shooting for, and it's probably going to go from Bayard to Fuller, and that would give us 80% of the project.
That may...
Yeah, and very, very preliminary estimates have already identified to be, or previous estimates anyway, somewhere around $400,000. So
This would be hiking and biking?
Yes.
Biking, foot traffic, try and do a little bit of everything, have a hard surface on it, and we try and make it safe for all the public.
It'd be really neat if it went all the way to 32nd bypass.
It would. It just takes money.
Okay. Anything else, Anthony? I assume you're complete, right, Linda? You have anything else?
I just needed to inform you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Ramos, that I've completed uploading the preliminary budget into our Tyler system. So I am working on preparing packets for you all so that you can review them. And we'll schedule a special meeting for next week because we need to submit that budget to DFA by June 1st.
We're still looking at the 28th, right? 28th,
28th at 9 o'clock, special meeting to approve or disapprove the preliminary budget.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Ramos. The report you have in front of you, as of close of business yesterday, we've collected a total of $781,400.47 as the county's portion of what we actually have collected. And this is from the last report that was dated the 5th of May. If you combine the 5th of May's report with this report for the month from 19th of April to the 19th of May, it's $1.25 million that we've collected in our office in a 1-month period. So I want to commend my employees and the staff has really worked really hard and diligently. We have no backlog as far as mail goes, and I want to thank the public for being as attentive to their taxes. As you see, we've collected 86, almost 87% of the taxes for 2013, and that's among the highest that we've had at this point in time historically. So, you know, the public is doing a good job as far as paying their debt, so we commend them for that as well. And the only thing that, you know, we're trying to work with Linda on is our budget, of course, that all of the activity that we have in the office is requiring a lot more supplies than we have used in the past because of all the, you know, toner cartridges and so on and so forth. So hopefully we don't put too much of a strain on the budget, but hopefully we'll also get a little better budget this coming year, than a little more realistic than we've had in the past. And you know,
That's about all, unless you have any.
Any questions? No. Thank you, sir. Mary?
Chairman, Commissioner, we're still working on protests, and hopefully we'll get them done by the end of the month, so that I can get a yield control report to Abby as soon as possible. I'd like to thank my staff for working so hard on getting these protests done. We're also starting a land study to determine where the land market actually is on vacant property. And that's really it.
How many protests did you have?
We ended up with about 170.
170?
Yes, but you know, you have to look at, I send out almost 29,000 notices of value, and so we only end up with 170. That's not very many.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's still a
It's a lot of
when
work.
You have to go
It's a
through
lot
them
of
one
work.
at a time.
Yes, it is.
Individual to individual.
It is.
Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. Rob, anything going on in your world?
A little bit. Thank you. I just wanted to remind everyone that we do have early voting going on in our office, as well as at the Baird Community Center, 8 to 5 Monday through Friday in our office, 9 to 6 Tuesday through Saturday at the Baird Community Center. That'll be the rest of the month. Next Monday, our office will be closed, so we won't be having voting on that day for the holiday.
On Monday.
And then I just wanted to share a few totals. We have 598 ballots total that we have issued so far. That's pretty low. The way the trend has been in the last few years, early voting and absentee voting, it has high numbers of participation, and we're just not seeing it this year. I don't know what's going on. People aren't getting out to vote. No excitement, I guess.
You'd think with a senator running from our own county that we'd see
I would think, I was expecting a high, voter turnout because of that, but we aren't seeing those numbers. And like I say, the trend has been for early voting to be high, so I'm kind of worried that we're not going to get those numbers on election day. So just get the word out to anybody that we need to vote. It's important. It's always important, but especially this one. We have a lot of things in the basket that could come our way if we get the right person in there.
Hunter?
Sure.
All right.
He's looking at me. Well, I was just thinking, if you're not going to vote, don't gripe. That's the way I see it. If you're not going to vote, don't come and gripe at me. Go ahead, Abby.
Mr. Chairman, I won't gripe. I did vote, so I can gripe. I just have a couple things. One is we've been working on the fuel issue, and we're going to have to do an initial purchase of fuel, of AV and jet fuel, to fill our tanks. And that's going to be a large purchase. It's going to be more than $20,000. And I was wondering, would you like me to go ahead and put it on the agenda for Thursday or even a special meeting next week?
You have prices for the fuel by
I may not Thursday, but next, for the special meeting, we're not going to have the trucks here anyway, so the special meeting wouldn't be too late to work on the purchase of the gas. I just wondered if you wanted to go ahead and give approval so that we didn't have to, once we got the ability to move forward, we could go ahead and do that without a meeting with you all.
Well, this is something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is something that we're going to have to go sole source on, because avgas is a very peculiar item. It's got to come from Phillips. So is there something we need to do in the future to where we don't have to do this every time we order a couple loads of fuel?
Yes, I'm sure we can work that out. We may be able to get an ongoing contract. Initially, we may qualify for on the single source base, but there are other sources, so I'm not sure about that one. But we also are in the middle of fire season, so we also have an emergency possibility.
Once you set up a contract, though, once you do a card lock, and they're taking care of your credit cards, you have to have that contract in place. Because you can't go buy fuel from somebody else and have them clear your credit cards.
We'll have to investigate that. It's, like I said, there's all sorts of unknowns that you may know more about, certainly, than I do. having past experience, so I'll talk with you about that. But as far as moving forward without having a meeting with you all, that's the only thing I'm trying to address.
But whatever we need to do to not get in trouble and to get fuel in the tanks is what we need to do,
Okay,
so.
so I'll probably look at the special meeting next week so I can think it out and make sure we're doing our procurement right, make sure we're not getting mocked into something. So,
Not only that, but we probably need to make contact with the Forest Service, see how much of the gallons of fuel they actually use this one fire, see if we're gonna have to actually fill the big tanks that we have there completely, because sometimes the benefit of buying a bunch of fuel versus little isn't that huge. So, probably want to just get what we need to get started.
You can't just get just a little bit of AV. It's gotta come from
Yeah, but there's only so much a truck will carry,
about 8,000 gallons, and the tanks will only hold 10, so we should just get a truck of
One
each.
truck, exactly.
And you can't mix and match them. You can't haul jet and nav in the same truck at the same time. You can haul them in the same truck, but you have to purge them in between. So we're still looking at,
So we're gonna be
AV
stuck
is
with a load
gonna
of
be,
each, then?
a truckload of AV is gonna be $32,000 to $40,000, and a truckload of jet's gonna be $25,000.
my understanding is 40 for the AV, 20 for the jet right now.
I've been in
Approximately.
business for 3 or 4 years, that's pretty close.
Yeah, good job.
We've done this a time or two.
Anything else, Sam?
Also, recently we adopted the light duty program, the light duty policy. I don't recall how long ago, but it was within the last year. And at least in one of our departments where we have positions, and I'm talking about the detention center, we have positions that must be filled. So when you put someone on light duty at the jail, you pay that person on light duty to do whatever duties we have come up with, but you also pay for that position still, that they cannot work. So what we figured out is that it's costing us quite a bit to do light duty in the jail, because we're having to pay for 2 people. So we're discussing, administration is discussing potentially removing the light duty program from the jail, and those employees that are injured while working will still get their workers' comp. We just won't have that extra position that we're creating now for them, the light duty
Do we have anyone
positions.
on light duty right now?
Yeah, we almost always have someone on light duty at the jail. We almost always have somebody on leave at the jail, just the nature of the business. They tend to get injured, the same as the sheriff's office, they tend to get injured more than, say, in the manager's office, because we don't have a lot of physical altercations in there. Anyway, so we're taking a look at that. I haven't talked with the sheriff about it in great detail, but I have talked with Mr. Carrillo about it. So we're considering presenting that to you maybe at the next meeting, just removing that policy from the detention center and possibly the sheriff's office, depending on how much of a problem it is in the sheriff's office. It's actually costing quite a bit in the detention center where we already have overtime problems, or, it's overtime obstacles, I should say. Anyway, I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Okay, thank you. Now, Commissioner.
No, just congratulations to our state champ boys Colts and the boys Cobry, and congratulations to the sophomore girls at Silver. Cobry girls did a heck of a job fighting back and tried to win really hard, and they took second place, but they did a great job representing us. I believe Cliff had a second place boys track team. Congratulations to Cliff. And, I really did enjoy seeing the way our faculty reacted to this last fire. And again, I want to thank you all for coming together. I know there's been a lot of planning before these fires, and it was something to see you all in action and getting things done. Working from the road department to our volunteer fire departments to Randy and Abby, I really hats off to you all, the way you all reacted, and thank you again from the county commission. Thank you very much for what you do. We do have baseball senior leagues getting started, and Little League's already full blast, so please be careful with these kids running around on the highway over there in Bayard, and also over towards the golf course and the Scott Park. So, that's pretty much all I have, but again, a sincere thank you for the way you all reacted to this fire.
Thank you, Commissioner. I too want to congratulate Cobre softball, Silver softball, and Silver baseball. What a tremendous feat for the county to have 3 first-place championships and a second-place state championship in the county. There's nobody else can say that. And Denisha, I hope we can get those kids in for the June 12th commission meeting to give them some type of little resolution, proclamation, whatever we do. And I guess we can have them here all at the same time. They'll all act like young ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure. So, I know that the plans for Commissioner Hall, for Jane Services are in the future, I believe July 3rd. So I kind of expect that the county will have a good-sized contingency at that. And with that being said, unless anybody else has seconds, we'll adjourn. Adjourned.